He's got a trip.
Hi. Lisa?
Good morning.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Legal. Thanks for everybody being here. Monica, appreciate you want to introduce. I think some folks know who he is, but
All
the
right.
floor is yours.
Okay. Well,
Thanks, Patty.
I would like to introduce you all to Joshua, is it Isham or Isham? Isham, I say it wrong every time. Joshua Isham Dean. He's currently the Director of Nursing at the Public Health Department, and our Board of Health has approved him as the interim administrator. So we've submitted, or I submitted his resume to the state to make sure that they approved. The state does have to approve and credential the administrator, so they have approved him as interim. And I will tell you that we're very fortunate for that. Joshua came to us in January. He has learned very, very quickly. We've already started training, and I feel like things will be in very good hands. I'll be available for him anytime he needs help. So like I think I mentioned at the county board meeting, the state was very gracious to say that I could help with transition and be available for questions and training as needed. So I'm happy to do that as needed. And we do also have the position posted for the permanent position. We've gotten several applicants. None of them at this point have met the education and experience requirement. The state does require, I should have brought that. Lisa, I'll give that to you and you can provide that to the board members. I apologize. But I do have a copy of what the state requires in terms of education and experience. We have many people who meet the education requirement, but it's a little bit more difficult to find someone who meets the experience requirement. So I will be forwarding those onto the board as received. I'm staying in close contact with the personnel committee and making sure that they have all of the information that they need and request. We are also working directly with Bellwether to make sure that everything is in order and we are getting recommendations for them about moving forward.
Who is on the search committee or the?
Personnel committee?
Yes.
That's Dr. Rico, Scott, and Lisa.
Okay. I just thought everybody'd like to know who's working on it.
Any other questions?
Can I ask her a question
Oh,
about,
absolutely.
you replaced the one that did the restaurant inspections in town, did she
No,
resign?
yeah, she
You have
did
somebody doing
resign. We are working with a supervisor at this
Okay.
time.
I just wondered.
Our current inspector, Mike, is in school. He's studying
Oh.
environmental health, and the hope is that he could take his
Okay, I just wondered.
exam in the next year. We've looked, I've turned my ad off for right now, and it's been, it's almost
Oh, yeah.
as difficult to find an LEHP
Oh, yeah,
as it is a dentist.
Thank you.
You're
I just
welcome.
wondered.
Sure.
Lisa, did you have anything to add to what?
On that topic, I have not received any communication from the public, so no news is good news, so I think
Yeah,
everything's
I
going
agree.
smoothly.
Yeah.
Um,
I go to a lot of restaurants, I don't see
Sure.
anything wrong with them.
If you're not getting any flack and I'm not getting any
My wife
flack, we're
doesn't
good.
cook, so, okay.
And I'm just so happy that since you were hired, things have seemed to go well and smoothly, and it is greatly appreciated, and I'm glad you chose to come to the health
I
department.
am too. I have a wonderful crew there that makes my job very, very easy. I can say that with a lot of confidence, so.
Great.
Scotty, did you want to add anything at this
The only
point?
thing I can say is that I've only heard good things about Mike from the restaurant owners, so I know that seems to be, yeah, everybody seems to be fine with him. So
And it comes
hopefully
out to
this
be
will
as
work in our
good.
favor for the future, once he gets the rest of his education done, and then that'll be something that'll be taken care of, so. Everything else seems to be fine.
Well, the nice
Appreciate you.
thing about Mike, he really wants to stay, you know, and that's really half of the battle. He really likes his job, he wants to be here, so, it'd be good to keep him. And
To
let
me,
him get
that's a
his
plus,
license.
you know,
Yes,
when somebody wants to
exactly.
stay, you wanna try to work with them the best you can to be able to keep them.
That's good. And of course, you were able to get a return on one person, right, that was gonna leave and then they came back, which was very important, I think. All right.
Just looking for a dental assistant.
There's
One more
always
dental assistant.
something.
One more dental assistant, so.
Well, we appreciate meeting you and good luck and thank you for bringing on Monica.
You're welcome.
We appreciate the board. Thank you. Anybody have anything else? Okay. Do you want to talk about where we're at?
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you again for all of your support.
Just,
Thanks for your service too, Monica.
Yes, thank you.
Be careful going to Springfield.
we'll talk about the, you know, the negotiate, well, as much as we can about the negotiation, make sure everybody knows where we're at, so.
Yeah, so I did meet with Chief Rogers one day last week. I brought him up to speed about the meeting that we had with the dispatchers and the attorneys. Shared with him some of the concerns that were brought forward, and he understood. He's going to look into a couple options as far as what he can do with the physical files that we talked about, as far as them having to be physically present when they're dispatching. And just told him that we're just, for right now, just kind of holding to see if there's a way to move forward with it.
Okay. Carl, did you have? I also talked to Michael Martin, the city administrator, a couple of times. In fact, I talked to him I talked to him right after the meeting we had. So, and got him a copy of the concerns and so forth. And then I talked to him again, I guess last Thursday or Friday. Then I also talked to the mayor about several issues, including this, and that we needed to get off the dime and figure out one way or the other and get it moved forward if that's what we were gonna do, okay? So, any questions about
Are they
that?
trying to annex that property into the city so they can get the sewer system out there? Is that what they're trying to do for the jail?
We've already annexed into
Already
the
got it.
city.
Okay.
That's already been
I
done.
know we talked about it. I just wondered.
Who's the guy that lives, you gotta make sure, that lives right here on the south side of the road? Anyway, he gave us easement
Oh,
and
okay.
allowed, I don't know whether it was 40 feet or 60 feet or something, that connects the city to out here. So now that is part of the city and so
Okay.
is
I just
this.
wondered, we talked about it, I didn't know if we made a decision around it.
That was one of the things I talked to the mayor about also, was getting off the dime on the construction of the sewer line.
Okay. All right.
So I hadn't been getting, neither had Josh been getting anywhere with the engineers over in Decatur. I know they've got a lot of projects going on, but we need to get that where
I
we
just
can.
wondered, okay,
No, that's fine.
thank you.
So, you wanna talk about where we're at on the clock tower and?
We're supposed to be putting the hands on today, but Crane, I guess Core, not Core, but Roofers Treating called them off late Friday afternoon, so anyway, they're there today, put it in the gears, and what they can do today. Josh is trying to find out if they're gonna bring a crane tomorrow. I don't know what's the weather supposed to be tomorrow. Nice again?
Well, it may be, what did they say, with heat and everything else, it might generate some storms tomorrow.
It's like being up in that crane when there's storm.
Well, with the heat coming in and the humidity, it makes for
For storm, right.
unstable, they can't say we're gonna have anything, but
When's it supposed to be?
there's a 50% chance of rain tomorrow, the last I looked. So, but,
I was sitting up there with Josh this morning, he was talking on the phone, he's gonna find out what the status of the crane is. I look for him to come in sometime here pretty soon and let us know what he's found out.
and most of the work on the inside of the courthouse is done Josh hasn't looked at it. They did, I think, a good job, even more than they thought they were going to, as far as stabilizing and replacing things that were split or rotten, etc. And of course, when the crane's here, they're also gonna work on the outside of the building. So finally, we'll get some of that exterior storm repairs done, which will be nice.
So they came up with the material that has to be replaced on
That's my
time,
understanding.
did they?
And that was one of the reasons the crane, they called the crane off, because the materials didn't come in like they were supposed to, so.
But that will be nice to see, so we
Yeah.
don't have to look up there and
Yeah.
see that. But like Russ said, the ceiling on the second floor really looks, I think, really good. They repainted the whole thing, and so,
I don't know that the walls have been painted.
no, but the ceiling, I mean,
The ceiling
the
all
ceiling,
looks great.
yes.
Yeah.
We can always paint the walls later if we need to, so. So things are coming to a conclusion. What, 8, 9 months
I was
later?
gonna say about a year later, by the time they get done, it'll be pretty
So-
close to a year.
Do you have anything? Oh, the other building, I talked to Don this morning and Dina. Sorry to, what do you think about the April 10th meeting as the deadline for them? Because the ladies all said about Don and Dina, we needed to give them a deadline. And they said that they could live with the deadline,
Okay.
but that way we can pass a resolution to advertise that building and get it out for bid, okay? Does anybody disagree with it? The other thing we need to do is we've got elections coming up this year. Actually, we've got a primary coming up in just a few weeks. So we need to deal with the elected office holder's salary. One of them is already set by the state, which is the state's attorney. But we have the coroner up in the circuit clerk. So we need to get on that probably no later than April. We've got till what, May, but just in case.
Right.
So I just wanna
6
make
months.
sure we start thinking about that, and we'll get some information out to you. And maybe we can dust off the old one and update it and do what we need to do.
And it's a primary?
19th March.
That's almost here.
It's
2
coming.
weeks, or 3 weeks?
Yep.
3 weeks.
Got 3 weeks from tomorrow. Dan, do you have anything you?
I just happened to drive by the shelter yesterday afternoon. Normally, nobody's there, but Andrew's there with somebody dropping off a dog, so she said the place was really full. She looked a little stressed, so I don't know. But she says the help's been good, so it's just overloaded, I think. So she still has like 8 puppies that somebody dropped off last week. She looked a little stressed, but she said okay, so. That time, normally she's not there on Sunday, but she was picking up a dog or something, so.
We had a safety committee meeting, and the reason I bring it up now was we talked about, with Jill removing that fenced area
Mhm.
and maybe expanding and freeing up the parking there a little bit.
Yeah, there's
So-
no parking for the animal shelter, that's one of the problems too, so.
Right,
Yeah,
and they were locking dogs in that fenced-in area too, people,
Around it.
not the animal shelter.
Asda.
oh, okay.
They were, you know, if somebody says, oh, I don't want this dog, and they bring it out there,
Yes.
so they'll wrap a cord around the gate and lock the dogs in there without water,
Yeah, it's
anything.
crazy.
I mean, it's nuts, so, at any rate,
I think I don't know if you saw the Facebook, I think she's engaged to Tony Kesper. He was out there helping her also, which is good.
yeah,
Yeah, I had Tony in high school, he was a good boy.
yeah.
I think, doesn't he work for the courthouse?
I don't
Downstairs.
personally know him, I just
Yeah, I
just
think he
know of
works
him.
as a, downstairs where they have the metal detector.
Oh, okay,
He was out there helping her, which is good.
okay.
Well, I guess he knows what he's getting into.
Pardon?
He knows what he's getting into.
Uh-huh, right. He'll learn.
Did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I had a couple things. Just found out this morning that the sheriff's department did get a $25,000 grant from It was from the Center for Disease Control, and it was related to COVID funds. So they sent us a thing where we can get on this website and look at, there's a specific list of materials that we can buy, but there is quite a bit of stuff on it. Medical supplies, cleaning supplies, stuff like that, so we can get gloves, any type of janitorial supplies, but something I thought was pretty interesting in there was that they had appliances even that you could buy. So maybe if we're looking at the new jail, they had washers and dryers, some kitchen appliances, stuff like that.
Well, that's good.
Also, something we talked about before was the generators,
Right.
standby generators that we need. That was something that is available in this grant that we can
If we can
get.
sit down with the sheriff's committee and the sheriff
Mhm.
and you, and kind of figure out what,
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so we've got until June, I believe, to spend that money, but,
Oh, really?
yeah, but I think we can, I'm gonna go through the website today and take a good look at it, and,
Now, is it reimbursed, or do they send us a check?
nope, they have the funds on hand there, we will order from it, and then they will update. I think Ryan had
So
already.
we don't
ordered-
even get the funds, we just buy it from them? Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That way
Yeah,
we don't have to account for it.
Said we don't have to handle the funds, we just order from this website, and they'll say, you now have 23,500 left.
Great.
So,
Can you
So-
set up maybe a meeting later up on this week with the sheriff and you
Mhm.
and the safety committee? Maybe we should even invite Jill, just so she's present, and set something up, probably not Friday, or at the very least, early the following week, depending on the schedules,
Okay.
okay? So, is that okay with you guys? All right. Sorry, go ahead.
So, no, it's okay. This last week I went through and got all of the deputies' back pay figured up as far as, getting caught up with the contract. This week I'll do the telecommunicators and jailers, get theirs figured up.
Everybody's new salary went in the last
Yes.
paycheck.
Yep.
It was just now catching up back
With what we
to.
needed from
Right.
December 1st forward, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then also had that meeting with JR last week over the insurance stuff. We got a kind of a game plan together with, I think he had sent you an email and updated you, but.
Yeah, that's another thing we need to review with the safety
Yep.
committee, so everybody's aware of what's going on.
Yep,
We don't wanna interfere, but we wanna know what's going on.
yep, that's all I got.
Great, great. Who wrote the grant for the 25, or?
It was an automatic, they sent it out to so many counties, so I'm not sure what matrix qualified us for that, but.
Let's do it right, so
Yeah.
if they wanna pass it out again, they know where.
Yep.
Because some of the stuff they send out, even the COVID money
Mhm.
before, and nobody used it, reported it. I
Right.
mean, it's hard to then claim later on that you want more cash if you don't deal with the program correctly.
So yeah, we're gonna make sure we make good use of it here. So it was something, we were notified of it through the Illinois Sheriff's Association.
That's great, so congratulations. Russ,
I don't have anything more.
Augie.
We already talked about it. Primary coming up. Early voting is going on now. I want to say it's slow. The foot traffic is slow, but it's just being replaced by vote by mail ballots. So those people are just switching the way that they are voting.
Do you get any feedback or know whether I know they talked about maybe mailing ballots out to everybody again.
Oh, we've done that.
I know you have,
Yeah.
but they're talking about requiring it again.
Yeah,
It's not required right at this point.
well, so it is in that you can request to be on a permanent vote by mail list.
Right,
And so that's implemented, and once you're on that list, you're on that list unless you want to come off of it.
well, but they started that by they just sent it out to you, you didn't have to request it, the first go round.
Yeah, the first go around, it was
Now
a
it's changed.
mandate
Yeah,
that you had to give everybody an application.
and they're thinking about doing that again,
Yeah, yeah. But, yeah, you have the option now
yeah.
to participate or not, but that's what I've noticed is that our mail-in ballots have increased, but our foot traffic has decreased.
Question, how do you handle auditing to ensure voter accuracy?
Explain that a little bit more, please. Voter accuracy.
So that unlike some other counties, that we aren't, that we take dead people off the rolls, or people who have moved.
Yeah,
How does that work down here where we do things well?
well, so we get you mentioned address change or moving. So we're part of well, everybody in the state is part of a database with the State Board of Elections. So when you move and you register with another county, that automatically comes back to us to tell us that this voter has moved out and is no longer a resident. So that cancels that. We also get notified regarding deaths. In our own office, while we look at that monthly, and we go in there, and if we see any registered voter that is deceased, we go in and we just cancel them out. Also on election day, the judges keep track of that. Somehow they just, people talk, they visit, and so-and-so's haven't seen so-and-so lately, and then they'll say, well, yeah, did you not know he or she passed away? So there's different ways that we keep up on that. And then also every few years, we're required to do a purge of our database. Everybody gets mailed out a voter ID card, and if that comes back to us, then we're required to send out a second mailing, and if that comes back to us, then we know that that person is not there, and we remove them from the voter rolls. Does that help
Yes.
answer
Thank
that? Okay.
Thank you, Augie. Any other questions of Augie? Carl?
Last week, we had a sheriff's committee meeting, and we talked about the radio tower over here at the Noble Day UPRS, and we finally got the appraisal from it, and we made an offer, and a letter was going to be sent out to the owners of the property to see if we can work something out to purchase the property. Then we also had a video conference with Michael on the jail project, and I think we've got everything finalized, and he said hopefully by the end of this week he will have everything in place, and then it can go out for bids. So unless something comes up, I assume the next week or two, it'll be going out for bids, the jail will be. And I don't remember now how long that's gonna be out, 30 days?
It's a little less than, I think it was 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because they've already been working with.
So, and then we were gonna open like the first week or two of April, first meeting we have, that's when we'd be opening bids for the jail.
And then hopefully dealing with it at the, what is it, April 10th meeting? I think that's April 10th.
Yes.
So that's kind of the
Yeah.
order. Okay. Lisa?
Productive Board of Health meeting, and I have Joshua's resume, if y'all would like to see it. And I have not read through it, but one of the things we had talked about at the meeting prior was getting a little more understanding of the lead testing for children. And so Monica had passed out information on that. And she has a new maintenance staff person that she really likes. And I said, does Andy know? And she's just FYI. And she said, no, but I should probably tell him. And she said she had several good applicants, and I had asked if she would share some of those with you. Because you know, it is a concern that we only have one person and there's really not a backup. And, you know, so we've talked about that in the past, so that, backups is always on my mind. And the waiting area, she was planning on having it back to functional and the furniture moved back in this last week. It looks good, it looks clean, it looks ready to go. You know, it's that mixed blessing of needing insurance money and to fix things, that there were a lot of things that needed fixed anyway.
For the best.
They do if you can just get through the painful part of the interim. She handed out health department annual reports. The numbers are, if you don't know what somebody's doing, you assume they're not doing anything, and that is so far from the truth. So I encourage you to take those and look through them. Monica's last day is 13th, and yeah, who knows what that is. And Scott, is there anything else you want to share? You're in there more than I.
Yeah, after our meeting, I went into the waiting room, and it really, I mean, it looks beautiful now. It was all done when I went in, so I'm real happy with everything. I went and looked at all the offices that they've moved back into, and they all look great. So everything seems to be turned out pretty good.
That whole place looks good. If you haven't been to the health
Yeah.
department in a few years, you need to go in, because it is not fancy, but it is clean and tidy and professional looking.
And everybody's so friendly. I mean, they really are. They're so nice there.
There are some great dynamics taking place there. There's been some good changes in this last year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ron Dorst painted it one time.
Yeah,
When he was
Oh.
painting.
Wow.
Yeah, painted the whole thing inside.
wow.
A number of years ago.
Yeah, and it needed it.
It
It needed
needed
it again, but it's
Yeah.
looking good. So I encourage you to just stop in and say hi and ask for a tour.
The new doctor, she's awesome.
That's good.
Even the
Yeah,
basement's
she's
nice.
really good.
Clean
Good.
and
Yeah.
organized. The
She
basement,
live in Paris?
we were down there
She
when they
bought
did the
McLaughlin's place
replacing the
out
furnace or
out
whatever.
on 400.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Okay.
When you're going up to Bartos's, she bought that place.
Okay. Good.
So that's all I had on health board.
I have one question. Christian was having a problem with lead. They still have the problem up there with lead? I just wondered, I've been reading about it in the paper. I just wondered.
No, they get all their water now from, through Paris.
Okay,
Well,
that's right.
You're talking about the lead paint?
That's lead something, it's in the paper. and all
Lead
that.
paint.
Oh, the lead paint on the building that they,
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay, that's, I thought you, but we did have a problem with lead
I
in
just
the water.
wondered.
yeah.
Okay.
You're talking about the lead paint, that's what's been in the paper just recently.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah.
look at it. 'Cause we
And I
we
think they
painted
got that
houses.
resolved, didn't they?
I don't know.
Well, they've
He knows more.
contracted with somebody to
Yes,
get,
it's being mitigated, yes.
right, yeah.
Anything built
'cause-
before 73, when we painted houses in summertime, we'd go to a day conference. And then we had to spread a tarp all around the bottom of the house. And I forgot, I'll wear a mask and everything when we painted houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still there,
It's a
so I
big
guess it
deal.
worked.
You're just one of the hardy ones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna meet Monica for lunch, and so we'll probably have other things to chat with. Something that I am still encouraging her to think about, and I know time's running short for her, and it may not be quite as much of a priority, is again, it goes back to what I was saying, if you don't know what people are doing, you think they're not doing anything. And I really hope for her to find a way to publicize their good information. You know, it's been great that we have somebody that now comes to the board meetings and reports on it, but there are a lot of numbers in there. And that's still on my mind. Going to Neighborhood Watch in Hume this evening. Are you going this evening?
I didn't realize they were having one.
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Going to Rosk tomorrow. They're meeting at the hospital at 5:15. Their focus tomorrow is going to be some more serious discussion on, I won't say this totally accurately, but, you know, in my mind, it's a halfway house, but, a recovery place. Because as Jonathan said very eloquently at our last 708 board, you can't think about getting a job and getting your life on track until you have a safe place to live. So, that I think is gonna be pretty much the focus of tomorrow's meeting. And again, do I know what or if I have a role in there as a county board person, because that's really the only reason I'm attending. But I think at this point, it's good to be there.
Did you go to the Thursday meeting that they had?
No, I did not. I just know Dr. Fry had said it was a very good meeting.
Was it?
I don't want to get involved in the mechanics of a lot of organizations. I just want to have my ear to the ground. And Rosk, you could really get in deep.
Mhm.
And there are many wise and people that are in that every day. Reminder, the Lincoln Date dinner is Thursday night. I sent an email out to the county's high school principals and civics teachers and offered to come speak. I said, it's not political, I'm not interested in talking about politics, I am willing to talk about volunteerism and serving. And so, I haven't heard anybody yet, but then I also shared with them the Lincoln Day dinner, and that we get a speaker that talks about Lincoln and the importance of Lincoln in Illinois, and that it is also not, that presentation is not political. And that if some high schooler wanted to come, and I suggested extra credit, if some high schooler wanted to come, I'd be more than happy to pay for dinner. And I have spoken to one young lady from Shiloh who was interested in going into poli-science in college, and she thought she might want to attend, so I'll follow up with her this week. Just trying to encourage people to feel a sense of civic responsibility or interest in joining, because you look at our little towns, and it's a problem enough in Paris and in the county, but in the little towns, it's horrible. And I understand how we got there. We need to reschedule our elected official department head meeting. And I think, as far as I know, that's it until our next study session.
Any questions of Lisa? Okay, talking about the 708 board, Bobby and Alan Zuber have been on there for years and years and years. Bobby is starting, July 1st, will no longer be treasurer, but he's staying on the board. Alan has submitted his resignation. I gave the letter to Augie, and they do have some recommendations for replacement for Alan's position or the place on the board. As soon as I get that.
Bobby Morse.
Bobby Morris and Alan Zuber, yes. So.
And interestingly, that is a very Crispin heavy board. So usually we're trying to find people that aren't from Paris, and that one happens to have 3 people on it from Crispin.
Okay. So, anything else? There's plenty of stuff going on.
You want me to say anything about the signs? The big sign?
Sure.
Steve Johnson, he's not Superior Graphics anymore, I don't know what the deal, but it's the same company, he's just changed the name. But he gave us a quote on the big sign over the top of the building, and it is, I'm gonna look at this because he stated it weird.
He's got two alternatives.
Two alternatives. Dina's been texting me, but this is an email. Okay. There's two, he gave us two options for a big one. One of them is, it's an outdoor sign, 26 foot wide by 5.5 feet tall. If you can wrap your head around that, that's 4,700. A smaller one is 24 feet wide and 4 feet tall, and that one's 3,400. Not much more for the big one. For quite a bit bigger sign, 1,200 to install it. So you can either take 4,700 and add 1,200, and that would be the big sign. And I think it was my understanding that's the size of the sign that Diamond had up there. And then the smaller one, 24 by 4, is 3,400 plus 1,200 to install. So that's what you're looking at.
It's gonna be on the sign, what's it gonna read on the sign?
Edgar County Government
Center.
Center.
Pardon?
Edgar County Government Center.
Okay.
Yep, his favorite.
Just wondered,
I just, Edgar County Government's fine.
which
with me.
scale?
But. Need to decide.
So the first quote, that included installation?
No, neither one.
Either one's $1,200.
$1,200
for
to install.
installation. So it's 40.
4,700 for the.
So that'd be
20
5,900 and 36, 4,800 or 4,900 for the smaller one. Basically $1,000 difference.
So no sign up by the street, just on the building?
If it's 26 feet.
Pardon?
If it's 26 by 5.5, I think
They'll
that's
go
big
see it,
enough.
right? Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe, over my glass, like I said.
Well, we can try that, we can always add something to the
Yeah,
street if
I
we
know.
need to.
Right.
That's one.
Maybe put some no parking signs or car will be towed if it's
I
parking.
still think we need to put, and you're still gonna put some signs on either side of the door.
We're, that's in the works right now.
Because you don't
Yeah.
want them walking into the,
They're tweaking them a little, just because of the hours of the,
one's different hours, yeah.
one's different hours, one's by appointment, so they're working out the specifics, but
Yep.
we gave him a check to go ahead, you gotta get him half up front, just to do the design work, so we gave him the check. That's in the works.
You and I need to check out the keys for the front doors
The-
on the code locks.
Okay.
They also have, they're keyed also, so you can bypass those, so
Okay,
we need to, one way or the other,
so,
we gotta
so the
get.
ones that can't figure out the code can get,
Hey now,
No, we weren't talking about you.
no.
Yeah,
I can
We
get
good?
in the building, I just can't remember how to get, you know,
Out?
in the office. In the office, this is not
That
climbing
requires
over the
nothing, just
counter.
open the door. Okay.
Got, kind of a lull in the action, we're hoping that we get some word on the tower. Thought we might have Josh at least.
Josh
check-
is here.
I know, check with the railroad right away there to see if we might be able to pick up that right away, since it's already abandoned. I mean, it's just a thought, so that would give us better access.
Right.
Did he get that letter out to that?
He hadn't yet, he had some questions, but he's pretty much got it, composed.
Okay,
He just wants to verify, run it by before he sends it out.
all right, good.
I think he went to go get it.
While we're waiting on that, Augie, is there a, regarding rescheduling the staff meeting, is there a better week of the month and day of the week for that? Is
No.
Angie the only one that is, we have to check a different schedule, like, she can't do Tuesdays, right?
I don't know what her court schedules are.
Well, Monday afternoon, Thursday is the criminal court, but you know, they've got civil court and,
Yeah.
you know, if there's hearings and stuff, but
So maybe checking with Angie, and she then would know
price and then what's.
I don't know how likely it is that we would get.
Let's just talk to
state's attorney
everybody and
there.
make sure we're all square.
Hit it, Josh. Hit it. Alright. I was drafting up a thing for the tower.
You don't have to go into the detail unless we wanna go into closed session.
But,
Cut it to, are we gonna have them required to take the stuff off the tower?
I would think
or
it'd
not?
be easier to figure that into reasoning why you're making the price lower, but if you take that off of there, it's gonna really lower their price if they have to take it off themselves or what they're gonna get. That makes a difference.
I didn't know we'd said.
I thought you'd said that you wanted everything off the tower too.
I mean, their equipment,
Yeah, like the radio antenna and all that stuff off.
their
Because they-
stuff.
They were
Yes.
planning on abandoning it in place and you told me it as is. They're gonna take their stuff out of the building.
That's, see,
But
that's
the
what I
radio
thought.
equipment, like the FM receiver or the stuff up on the tower, they were gonna leave in place. They just abandoned it.
What's it hurt to leave it on there?
There's weight, it's in your way, it
It's
might be in the
weight.
way to move your stuff up.
Okay.
I mean, there's no advantage to leaving it on there other than you don't have to pay to take it off. But I was using that as part of the justification to bring down the price. It's saying that,
Which we don't wanna discuss here.
there's some existing costs, that I was gonna say, there's some existing costs that we have to take into account on why we're valuing what we are.
I thought we just said we wanted it legal. That was the only thing we said about the tower. We just wanted to make sure that it met current criteria for what, to operate a tower. I didn't know we'd said that we wanted to take the stuff off. When we go up there and put our own stuff or move our own stuff, we can take the other stuff off.
It's bigger than you think if to take some of that stuff off. Their stuff is a pretty good size. It's
I
gonna take the crane
understand,
to
but I
stuff.
mean, to move ours, they're gonna have to do it too, right?
I talked to, I can't remember what his name is, from the radio company.
Yes.
And he recommended on this stuff, if you're gonna do it, to buy new equipment and move it up, and put new equipment on to use, and leave the old stuff on there as a fallback. So if something happened to that, you could switch over to the other instead of moving it physically up.
Would they do that? Could they take off the stuff from the radio people?
It's different company
I
they
know it-
use, I don't know, I'd have to check, and I don't know what their cost would be. I'd have
Well,
to
I
check on
just,
that one.
that while you're up there moving stuff around, it has to be cheaper than them or
Right.
us moving it now and them moving it, putting our stuff up. In other words, if it was all one contract,
Yeah.
Could be. I didn't price any of that at this point.
Well,
So I don't know that. He was supposed to give me a price, and I haven't heard from the radio guy yet.
Is that Brad? Is that-
Yes.
Yeah.
He was gonna be in town, I think Friday, looking at something else, so he was gonna go by there again and kind of come up with what
why
he thought.
don't you
was
get
gonna be.
his opinion on what we should do,
Okay,
okay?
I can do that.
And then give us a call and
Sure.
I'll call Carl and Russ and Andy. Okay?
It's no problem.
Okay?
Yep, I can do
Sorry,
that.
we didn't
No,
give
no,
you
you're
proper
fine.
guidance.
No, it's okay. It's like, well, if I do that, we've done it, that brings it even lower, and then like,
I'm
I'm
glad
not
you
sure.
caught that, so we don't,
Sure.
might as well go do it right the first time, okay?
Yeah, and I didn't wanna give them a price that's gonna be, we'll just try the market or something instead, and I don't know enough about
That's
how
fine.
firm they are and what they want, so.
That's fine.
Yep.
We tread lightly anywhere when you do it.
Okay,
Okay?
alright, thank you. out
on the crane, or did you?
They were putting some stuff in the tower, that are
Right,
putting
up
stuff
in
in.
the tower, yeah.
They're working on that, he said they'll have something here before the 10th, I don't know if it'll be the end of this week or next, but they were gonna have something here, that was a cluster there too, so.
Right,
One hand wasn't talking to the other,
right.
so.
Yeah.
Crowley got delayed, so they just pushed the crane, not taking into account that we had it scheduled for something else at the beginning of the week, so.
Did you let them know that?
I did when I figured it out this morning when I showed up and the crane wasn't there, so. And then I called him and he's playing that, they're playing email, but they know that they have to have it here for at least 2 days
Okay.
prior to the 10th for the clock people to get their stuff done.
Okay. Yep.
And they're doing some gear work, they're gonna bring the hands and stuff in, so.
You didn't ask him about lighting, did you?
He had something, I got a picture of what they're gonna put on there and stuff.
Okay.
So
Does it look satisfactory?
I'll show you, it's a little
We'll see
different,
that.
it's gonna be below and it's kind of a, what do you call it, I won't call it a floodlight, but it's gonna be it's gonna flood more, it'll illuminate more of the tower
Okay.
itself.
That's fine.
And it's a little different than the pictures, but,
That's good, cause that
Holes in the
didn't
new roof.
really show me what,
well, you're
Yeah.
probably gonna have to
Yeah.
detach stuff a little bit, but they're gonna have to seal it, no matter what you do, you're gonna have to do something, but I'm not.
Yeah, we don't want we wanna minimize
Yeah.
the penetration of the new
Roof.
roof.
Sure, I think pretty sure they should understand that.
It'd be better to go in to the to the wood.
wood as long as,
The problem is you're gonna have to come out some, because
Right.
otherwise you're right up against the tower and all you're doing is shooting straight up. So I
Oh,
think he was talking about being below at the edge of, it's kinda hard to picture.
Right.
We have a,
how long's he gonna be up there?
I assume they'll be there for a little bit this morning. You probably,
I may try to
I can give you,
get-
we can get his phone number before you leave, and I can call and see if he's still there. I've got it if you want before you get done here.
Is that JJ?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Josh.
No problem.
Anything else to come before the meeting? Motion to adjourn? Russ moves, Andy seconds. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And then you'll let us also know about the meeting. Okay?
You two are really funny.